Okay, so yeah, so the intent of this session is just a brief demo as in just to talk about what we're going to cover as part of the training plan and the accessibility to the tool, how we are going to set it up for the training and all that. So before we get started, uh, can you let me know your technical background,
Yeah,
uh, your
yeah. So
expectation?
basically, yeah. So I'm a Cognos developer, and I'm almost all from last 10 years. I'm working on Cognos, MicroStrategy, these tools, and I am familiar with Tableau, and I would like to switch to Tableau. And now the combination market and the market they're asking Tableau with AlterYX. So that's why I would like to learn AlterYX. So I have means a basic idea on Informatica as well, ETL part.
All right, so that's great then. Okay, all right. To about the same time, I've been having about close to 10 years of experience and working on different data related technologies, both data and as well as analytics. So, wide range of tools I've been working on and been in the training as well for about 5 years now. So, talking about AlterYX, yeah, this is a data preparation tool, data analytics tool. Not exactly like a BI tool that you have been familiar with, as you mentioned, Cognos and Tableau. Those are data visualization tools, most more of, though they have data analytics capabilities as well. But in this one, the major concentration will be on the data analytics, as in preparing the data, blending the data, transforming the data, and so on. But not really the data visualization part. Maximum what we can do is in here when it comes to visualization front, we have some static reporting generation possibilities, just like PDF file that you can generate with some bar charts, etc. Or similarly, an Excel output also you can get the similar kind of graphs and all, but not really an interactive dashboards that typically you'll be able to generate in a data visualization software like Tableau, ClickView, etc. Right? So that is the reason when we are looking for opportunities, you are asked for the combination of both the tools. AlterYX in order to prepare, blend, transform, or perform some data analytics on detail, and the prepared data, the generated data, or the massaged data. If you have to give a final visualization to it, you then ingest this data to one of these data visualization tools, and then you just create visualizations on top of it. So as for the data flow goes on, we first process the data through AlterYX, and from the processed data, you create visualization on top of it using any database software like ClickView, Tableau, etc. So that's the flow going to be. We will be talking about that aspect as well. That is, you can directly publish the data into your Tableau server as your data source. And once the data source is published into your Tableau, you can then just create dashboards on top of it, right? So there is a complete integration is there. So we don't have to generate any Excel output and then take that Excel and then upload to Tableau and then create dashboards and so on. So that part also will be covering how to first of all we'll be concentrating mostly on how to first of all consume the data, prepare the data, massage the data, and so on. And once that is all done at the end or during the end, towards the end, we'll also explore the part how do we automatically make the data ingestion or integration in between Alteryx and Tableau. Okay, so that's what we are going to talk about as part of the plan. And again, Alteryx is just one more tool. So as long as it is a tool that we are learning, we know that it's a limited feature set. Unlike any programming language you are set out to learn, like Python or some other programming language. For any programming language, virtually there won't be any limit. You just keep on learning about new libraries and all that. But for a tool, not the case. There'll be always a limited set of features. You just have to learn. You just have to spend time to get enough expertise on top of it, right? So we have a plan. This will be the content that we'll be covering as part of the training. I'll have this shared with you as well. And a typical uh, coverage time would be about 15 days. That is about 15 hours, and we'll be connecting 5 hours a week, every day 1 hour on weekdays. So that ranges about 3 weeks time to complete this training. Uh, and yeah, these 15 hours will be training hours. So once we spend every day 1 hour on training session, expectation is that you need to go back and spend time on hands-on during your free hours. Come back to the next day session if you have any queries. We'll take that, and then again the next session continues and so on. So 15 training hours plus maybe whatever the number of hours that you can spend, maybe about 30 to 45, your personal practical hours. So that should be enough to give you or make you at least proficient enough to start working on the tool. It's a very simple tool, easy to learn, quick to grasp. Just that the more time you spend, the more efficient you can get in, right? So we'll start from the fundamentals. We'll deal with different data sources. We'll explore about all different data transmission techniques. We'll also talk about reusability aspects, parameterization aspects, and all that, right? So yeah.
And what is the major difference? I mean, like AlterYX with the other ETL tools like Informatica.
Okay, so Informatica or any other ETL tool that if you take, they are full-fledged enterprise data integration tools. But this one we can't really consider as an enterprise integration tool, though this can also perform ETL activities. But you'll not find the feature-rich options in AlterYX, what you can typically find in an ETL tool, because ETL tools are built for one activity, that is to perform extraction, transformation, and loading. And it has all the capabilities to handle huge volumes of the data, performance tuning, and all that. But coming to AlterYX, from the ETL standpoint, it is not a heavy tool to handle huge volumes of the data, or at the same time, it doesn't really offer all those features what typical ETL tools offer in terms of performance tuning, load balancing, and all that aspects, right? But still,
Yeah.
it can be used if the loads are not very huge, if the transformation logics are not very complex, right? So it can get things done. So that is the reason you still find Alteryx also being used in maybe mid-range ETL projects, because it can pretty much do uh, fundamental data transformation activities what ETL tools does. But
Uh,
major concentration of this tool is data preparation, data analytics, data transformation, and all that, which is primarily ideal for those folks who are into data analytics front, where they do not really deal with huge volumes of the data on periodical basis.
Okay. So, I mean, like for generally, for any organizations, if they are using, I mean, Alteryx means, the means in the front end again, they will be having, I mean, front end means again, ETL part also, Informatica or any other tools also they are using as a ETL. Or if they use Alteryx, they don't use, in that scenario happens. I mean,
I'm not really sure what
my
that
question
question.
is, suppose, so for any projects, so they typically they use Alteryx and as well as ETL as well. I mean, other ETL tool as well.
Not
Or
really. You'll not find that, because Alteryx, you can say, like has just a minute subset features of any full-fledged ETL tool. That's what I was trying to say.
Mhm.
So
That means
there
if
is no point
our
in
Informatica
using.
team is very strong in an organization, then still, as a reporting team, they can recommend to use AlterYX or not required.
If you have already a full-fledged retail tool, there is no requirement of AlterYX because, as I was mentioning, right, AlterYX is
Yeah.
just like a subset of an enterprise ETL tool. So
So
if you already have
yeah,
an enterprise ETL tool, there is no
yeah,
point in having AlterYX.
mm,
But
yeah.
if you
So
don't have an enterprise ETL tool,
uh,
you still
uh,
want to perform some ETL activities, then AlterYX can help you if AlterYX is already there.
okay, okay, yeah, yeah. So mostly it is helpful to, I mean, transactional data kind of projects.
Right,
I mean,
right, right,
they,
right, right.
yeah, they don't have any proper data warehousing system and all. Then
Exactly,
they
exactly, exactly.
okay. And
So
so through Alteryx, we can connect it to databases, means a number of databases, and we can pull
uh,
the.
the typical RDBMS connectivity is possible.
Okay.
But then again, if it is in very unconventional databases like Greenplum, right,
Mhm. Yeah.
or Mongo, then
Mm,
you may find it a little difficult to find connectors.
mm,
Whereas conventional ETL tools has all the connectors to all those wide range of different datasets.
mm,
But
mm,
coming to Alteryx, that's not the case. As I was mentioning, it is not a full-fledged ETL tool, and that's where the challenge comes in. But the regular databases like Oracle, SQL Server, and RDBMS, you can
mm.
pretty much connect. You just have to create an ODBC connector and then use it, and then you'll be able to connect.
So then once we create any target database tables, I mean like targeted tables, then where we will, I mean, where we can store those tables after creating in the, I mean, in the database itself or.
See, any ETL tool, right? Not just Alteryx. They don't store any data in any ETL tool perspective. ETL tools are just like a middleman,
Mm,
wherein we define something called data flows, which is something like a code that you write saying what is my source object, where do I need to read from, where do I need to write into, in between read write, what do I need to do with the corresponding data. This is what we design in something called a job, which is nothing but a code that you're writing. It's just
okay.
that you don't write any program or such, you just be creating some GUI based job in any ETL tool. So the ETL tool is just like a middleman where I define some set of rules on what needs to be done. So on any given day, any ETL tool doesn't store any data. So same thing goes with the Alteryx also. In Alteryx, we create something called workflows, wherein we will be saying, so this is a typical workflow wherein you will be defining a number of different rules, what needs to be done, from where it needs to read, where it needs to write, and all that, right? So when we run this workflow, that's when the tool will go to the corresponding source, read the data, passes all the data through all these defined set of rules, and then finally writes the data again into your external data point, right?
Yeah.
So that's how it is. Just like any other ETL tool, we define something, we call that as a job or a workflow, whatever the name that is. When we run the workflow, only at that point of time, these ETL tools will go contact your external systems, perform read write activities, and between read write, they perform data transformation activities. So that means
Okay.
ultimately the data object needs to be present in your external system only, whichever it is, whether it is a
Yeah.
database or a file or whichever the
Okay.
format it is.
So then again, once the final table is there in our means database, then through Tableau or some other place, and we will connect to those tables, transformed formatted table, final output
Sorry,
table,
because
uh,
that's again a third party table.
third
So
party.
what
Like
it does, Alteryx writes onto that particular Oracle. Let's consider Oracle as some database.
mm,
So Alteryx reads from some file, process it, writes into Oracle. So if you have any downstream application like Tableau, Tableau will be ultimately connecting to that Oracle table.
yeah, right, right.
But what I was telling earlier was, if you do not want this, if you do not want to write to any physical database or data object in between, like
Mhm.
table in talking about, or it can be a file also.
Okay.
Instead, what we can do is You can directly publish the output, whatever you are generating through this particular flow. You can directly generate that as a data source into Tableau. In Tableau, there is this concept called data source, right? This
Yeah.
data source you can link to any physical data object, relational data object, or a file data object also. File data object as in you typically upload that file data object into Tableau and then consider that as a data source for whatever the workbooks that you create. Now here, if you do not have any relational object in between, you can directly publish the output, whatever you are generating through AlterYX workflow, as a data source into Tableau itself. So that connectivity is also possible using one of the feature set available within AlterYX.
Can
Okay.
we see that? And the going forward, can we able to see that? So we will go through that how we can publish into the Tableau
Yeah,
server.
yeah. We'll
Okay.
be covering that also as part of the training plan.
Okay. Uh, so do you have any idea? Like apart from this Tableau, this Alteryx is using. Any other reporting tool or any other visualization tools they are using this
Yeah,
all.
this also can connect to Power BI.
Okay.
As far as I know, Power BI connector is also available.
Hmm. Okay.
Not really sure whether it has connectors to ClickView or Cognos.
Cognos
At least,
doesn't have. Yeah.
but there is this one forum
Uh-huh.
wherein the global developers, I mean across the globe, whoever is Alteryx using,
Uh-huh.
they
Okay.
can also create some custom tools and then publish it. We consider that can be a third party tool. We can import them and then use it. But officially, Tableau and Power BI are being supported by Alteryx. But you can
Oh.
also use any unofficial tools, import and then use it, provided they are available.
Okay.
Yes.
And like if I install this, installation only for 14 days trial version, or it can
Right,
be.
right. So,
Oh.
yeah, so the trial version you can use only for 14 days. Other
Mhm.
than that, yeah, you need an enterprise license.
Oh, okay, okay. So like any student, ID is there. Then means for Tableau, if I have a student ID through that, if I install, then it will be 1 year. Uh,
Yeah, we don't have such programs in Alteryx since it is a completely enterprise tool. They are offering only 14 days. And also another challenge is that even if you want to register with a new email ID after 14 days, right?
uh,
Once you configure the tool on a machine,
uh-huh,
irrespective of what email ID you register with,
uh-huh.
you can just register only once on a particular machine because it registers the machine ID also.
Oh,
So
okay, okay.
yeah, so until and unless you format it again, you
Hmm.
format your machine again, you can't really use it for one more license after 14 days.
Oh, okay, okay. Got it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Then the class records are very important. Whatever we
yeah.
record.
General recording will be sharing.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, and so we can see the. In our sessions, we are going to see the Excel files. Apart from that, and even we can connect to the database, and we can see the very examples
Correct.
and all.
We'll be installing one of the RDBMS, mostly Oracle.
Okay.
Then we'll explore about creating those ODBC connectors, how to connect, perform
Uh,
rewrite action.
yeah, and also these scenarios, right? These transformers, the scenarios like suppose if any
Right,
pivot
right.
kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
For every transformer, we'll see one example and proper scenario, right?
Typically, we'll be doing use cases, and one use case may contain multiple account tools in it. So once we are talking about one use case, that typically covers 3 to 4 different tool set, 3 to 4 different transformation options.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so actually, basically, I mean, like, I would like to go with an in-depth on this AlterYX. That is
Mm-hmm.
what my expectations. I mean, like, I mean, so I have seen a couple of videos in the YouTube and all, but still, if I attend the sessions and all, then I will get more practical knowledge, and that is what my expectations.
Sure. No problem. Sure, sir. So we'll plan that. That's how the training also would be. First, we'll go tool by, and then we'll
Yeah.
talk about use cases so that you can put all those things into perspective and all that.
Mm, yeah.
And any tool, mostly it will be practical based training. That means 75% or 80% of the time we'll be doing hands-on or demonstrations and all that. Little about theoretical front. And as I was mentioning, right, other than the training hours that we spend while we connect, when you're on the personal time, the more time that you can spend, the quicker you'll be able to get proficiency on the tool.
Yeah, so basic point is whatever I need to practice and I need to do it on within 15 days. The trial version expires.
Right. So what workaround I can suggest, right? If you have at least 8 GB RAM machine,
Uh-huh.
you can have a VMware image,
Oh, okay.
okay? And within the image you install AlterYX,
Oh, okay, okay.
okay? And after
Yeah.
every 14 days you delete the image, you again launch a
Oh.
new image and then install again. This way,
So
right?
yeah, but yeah, can you? I mean, from your end, can you help that how to VMware installation and all? I mean.
Yeah, installation I can help you with. And regarding this VM part, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have 8 GB RAM machine, I can help you with. Otherwise, you can install only on your local machine if it is less
Oh,
than 8 GB. And with local machine, I already told you the challenge that once you
uh-huh.
install it, right, until you format your machine, you can't use again.
Yeah, I
So,
have 8 GB RAM. Yeah, in my machine, I have 8 GB RAM.
yeah, if you have 8 GB RAM, then we'll work out this VMware image plan only.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that is fine.
Mhm. So as you can see on my screen also, right,
Yeah.
I'm on a Mac machine,
Okay.
but Altrix is a Windows software.
Right.
So I had to use a VMware image of Windows. So what I'll do, right, at the end of every 14 days, I'll keep deleting this VMware image
Okay.
and then reinstalling it. This way, I use only my same email ID. I don't even need a new email ID after every 14 days.
Oh, okay, okay. Got it.
Okay. But only challenge is, right, the email that we use,
Mm-hmm.
it can't be a personal email ID. Gmail ID doesn't work. It has to be a work email ID.
Okay. So that is the first time. The second time onwards, the image will be keep going with that. If that is right?
No, for second time also it should be the same email ID.
Oh, okay. Okay. It should be
So
same email.
saying that you don't need a new email ID every time. You just need only one email ID, but that one email ID has to be a work email ID,
Okay. So for
not like
every time we install and the same, we will receive some.
same email ID you need to use for the registration and all.
Oh, okay. Okay. Got it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, so are you working on ETL tool or Tableau side or I mean?
No, yeah, I am not onto data visualization front on very collaborative basis, but I'm mostly a data guy into
Oh,
data integration and data analytics and yeah, ETL
oh,
aspects.
oh, okay, okay, okay,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, got it. Yeah, so yeah, even you
All
can
right then.
share. Yeah, can you share this content? I mean,
Sure. I'll have this shared across with you so that you can just go through once.
yeah, sure.
Okay. All right,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.